So what's the next thing we'd like you to know? We'd like to go into the history. Now, whenever I go for trainings, first things I want to know from whoever's teaching me is where did this come from and why is it the way it is today? So we go into the history. Hair braiding started from Africa, and this was centuries and centuries ago. Both women and men wore braids. And why did they have to do that? Because the Afro hair, which is what it started on, is very, very dry. It's very full, and sometimes people struggle to try and comb through the Afro hair because it naturally tangles. That's because it's dry, and it has very curly, not curly but coily way of forming itself. So what happens is these strands are wrapping themselves around each other, and so to comb through that is difficult. So but way back in the centuries, our great-great-grandparents had no other way of playing with the hair but to just form different designs in order to help them not to deal with combing through their hair every day. So this is one of the books that helped me understand what this was all about. I have done quite a lot of research in understanding the history of natural hairstyling and designing, and this was the farthest I could find. And what I found in here were things like how people were creatively designing the Afro hair. And what you find is this particular book breaks it into the different parts of Africa, and it's called African Hairstyles. So the different parts of Africa saw braiding in different ways, and some of them created designs for marriage, some of them created designs for a new child that was born. If the woman just had a baby, they will create a design to suit that occasion. Someone just lost her husband, they will create a design to suit that occasion. A young girl coming of age, they will create a design to suit that occasion. So it was purely in that kind of design. And how was this transferred, this understanding of how to design hair? How did they pass it on? Because it's still on till today. How are we passing on this skill? There are very few schools that are actually teaching you how to creatively design the natural hair, and that's what World of Braiding is here to do. We are here to teach you how to create all these designs so you can again give your clients glamour, give them beauty, give them style, give them natural hair growth. So this was taught through generations. So your grandma knew how to braid. She would tell the great-granddaughter to come sit with her when she's braiding and say, watch me braid hair. And your auntie knew how to braid, the same thing, your mom knew how to braid. But what then happened was, at some point, parents lost interest in caring for their hair, for their children's hair. And this is why we are here today. It has been really, really a very difficult journey to try and connect at what point the art of hair braiding stopped being passed on. So again, like I say to lots of my students, this opens itself for us to start looking at ways of now reviving this industry. And that's why I like to call it a young industry, because when you look at hairdressing, there are centuries of hairdressing being passed on. There are books. If you go into Amazon and say hairdressing, you can't count the number of books. If you went in there to search for hair braiding, you're not going to find 2 books. And when you do find books, they're just talking about styles. They're not taking you into the history. They're not telling you what's going on. They're not telling you how the hair should be cared for. So hence this DVD we're creating to give you all that knowledge for you to know what you're doing. So hair braiding was moved on to different locations, to different continents, to different areas. But how did this move? This moved when slavery took place in Africa. So the Africans were then moved to America, moved to the UK, moved to the Caribbean, and while they were there, a lot of things happened. Lots of people, especially when you go into the history of the slavery in America, which is where I focus my attention at, this is when you then come across the book of Madam C.J. Walker. Now, it's very, very, very detailed, this information, because at this stage, what happened was, because they were obviously moved in the form of slavery, you were not allowed. It's not like when you take a holiday and you take your suitcase and you decide what you want to put in the box. The slaves were not allowed to pick up anything, and so they left without picking up their tools, without picking up the products they were using in those days, And so they got to America and had no clue what to do to their hair. Now there's a video on YouTube which is very, very good for this information, and it's called 400 Years Without a Comb. What this was all about is the 400 years of slavery that people did not know what to do with their hair. So while in America, people like Madam Walker, Annie Malone, what they did was they had problems initially with their hair. Obviously, there was no tools to use, there were no products. They had to even use the shears that were used for the sheep to brush the wool, to show you how bad it was. There was no tools at all and no products. Then eventually people like Madam Walker created products that were then used to take care of the Afro hair. And sanitation was a major part of it. People did not know how to wash their hair. Again, slavery made people work 7 days a week. So there was no time, like when you go back into the history, way back in Africa, people created time to look after their hair. But when they were as slaves, they did not have time to do that. So initially they were forced to wrap their hair in head ties, which is what their masters wanted to see, because they did not want to see the Afro hair. But eventually, after it was an era called the Black Power era. I think this was much later. Now, what happened was black people started appreciating who they were, and this was obviously after Madam Walker and others helped to make people understand what their Afro hair was. Then people started going back to what they used to do. They used to braid their hair way back in Africa. They had their hair combed out. So this was when the emergence of the Afro hair itself started all over again. And that was when braiding per se started all over again. So now I'm going to move you into the modern age. So in the modern age, in America, in the UK, Africans everywhere, black people everywhere, they started being very creative with their hair. And like I always say to people, while the Africans knew what to do with the braids and the natural hair, the Americans were the one who then glamorized it and modernized it. So you see the more creative designs, the glamorous look. People then could wear their makeup and then wear their natural hairstyles and look beautiful. And then the celebrities started doing it. So you saw Beyonce wearing it, you saw Bo Derek wearing it, you saw Christina Aguilera, Alicia Keys, Brandy, Ferdinand, David Beckham wore it, Jada Smith wore it. So lots of celebrities started wearing braids, and then people now started understanding that anyone could wear braids and look beautiful in them. And that's how it was turned into the modern age. So what are the benefits of natural hair designing and braiding? Why would we want to know what this is? Now, because what you're looking at is the business enterprise of black hair. This is what we're looking at in this DVD. So we want to know how we can turn what we've just talked about into a business that people will come to us and want to buy it. And this is where something like marketing comes in, because for you to sell a product, you must look for a way to make the person who's going to buy it appreciate what you're trying to sell to her. And I always say to every student, make sure this is a major point you put in your notes. What are the benefits of the natural hair designing? Because if someone who has never had braids done before came to you and you are saying, oh, come to me, you know, I'm going to give you the best styles you can think of. Wow, you're going to look so beautiful. She might just say to you, why should I wear braids? This is where you have to think. You are giving her braids because she's going to look beautiful. So that should be one of your selling points. You're going to make her look good. You're going to keep her hair tidy, and you're going to keep it in style. And I say to you, this is very important, because I had a client come in here today, and first thing she said to me, if my hair doesn't look good, I don't feel good. What do you say to that? So if you're not creating beauty for your clients, why do you think they should come to you? So your first point of call is, I want to create beauty no matter what I'm doing on my client set. And then the next thing we're creating is versatility. Versatility means this client can change her look instantly whenever she feels like it. And this is one of the really beautiful things about braiding, which is why I love it so much. You can change the color of her hair. She might have natural black hair, and you can decide to make her hair blonde. You can change the length of her hair. So she might have very short, long length of hair, and you add extensions, and she has very, very long hair. And all these are instant. You can change, she can change the daily styling of her hair. So with braids, she can wake up one morning and wrap them all up, or take it up with a hairband, or she can decide to throw them all to one side, or do whatever makes her happy. So that's what braiding gives you. You can change the texture of your client's hair. So we've just talked about a client with a natural afro hair, and that's what I have, by the way. So I have natural afro hair. I can decide and say, no, I actually want to change the texture of my hair to this. Braiding gives you that. You can decide to say, another good thing from braiding is easy maintenance. So when I have braids on my hair, I don't have to worry about what my hair looks like that day, because I can just decide today I can just spray the scalp and that's it, done. So it's so easy to maintain your hair, and this is one of the really good reasons most moms love the braids, because whenever you have to deal with taking children to school and back and running around the home and shopping and doing all kinds of things, the last thing on your mind to be worrying about is your hair. So when you have it in braids, you can easily control what you're doing with your look without having to stress yourself. You can have hair growth while you're wearing your braids. So once the braid's been done, you're not manipulating your hair that much, so your hair is naturally just growing. Your hair is durable. Durability is all about, for me, I say to my clients, if you've got a full head of braids like this from me, it could last you up to 3 months. I mean, some people can go less, but some people I've also known can go more. Sometimes they go 5 months. I don't recommend up to 5 months, but 3 months is ideal, because after that the hair starts locking itself. But you can carry that hair for a long time. What that means is there's less time you're spending worrying about your hair, and you're equally spending less money on your hair. So you've done your hair once, 3 months, that's it. You can budget in a year, because if someone was charging you, for instance, 150 pounds or call it $200, and you have to braid your hair every 3 months, how much is that? You can tell yourself, for my hair services, I'm going to pay maybe $800 or maybe 600 pounds. That's it. I don't have to worry about it anymore. But if every time you're going to the hairdressers to wash, to cut, to style, to color, you're paying $30 or $50, you don't know how many times you're going. Maybe you go there every week. So hair braiding takes away all that pressure from you. You can add volume to your hair. And so I've had people who have very, very light hair. Their hair texture is it's very fine, and they don't know what to do with their hair. Now when we add the extensions into the hair, it just gives you instant volume. So something like the Afro Kinky, for instance, is one of those hairstyles that volume is not a problem. Equally is the single plaits. Equally is the cornrows. So you can decide how much extension you want to put in. When we come into health and safety, I'll explain to you why you would need extra extension or less extension. But it's important to know that whatever the texture of your hair, fine or lumpy or thick, you can put the extension that you want and your hair would not be damaged. So again, when you wear braids, and remember when I'm saying braids, I'm not saying just braids. There's braids, there's weaves, there's extensions. All of them fall under, as far as I'm concerned, natural hair designing. So whenever you're wearing any of these hairstyles, you can allow your hair to rest. And for instance, the hair weave, which is where we create a cornrow underneath the hair. So that's cornrow going on here underneath this hair. And then what we've done, we've actually stitched it with a needle. That's what hair weaving is. When we get to weaving part, we'll discuss that a bit more. But you created that weave. What we've done with this, which is a full head weave, is to completely finish the cornrow. And so we finish a whole head of cornrow, and then we take the needle and the thread and we stitch the extension on. Now if you have that, you have completely rested your hair underneath the weave. And when that happens, you can style the hair whichever way you like. You can transition from chemical to natural hair. Now this is another major part for the natural hair people right now. natural hair movement has really grown. People are now understanding that the chemicals is not healthy for our hair and is causing a lot of hair damage. So lots of people are changing to the natural hair. Again, we're curious, we want to know what could help our hair to stay healthy while we're doing that. So why people are beginning to worry about changing their hair from chemical to natural, they are wondering, what should I do? I don't want to cut my hair completely off, which is what they call the big chop. So you hear some people say, oh, why don't you just cut the whole hair off and then wait for it to grow? Now, not everybody have that kind of confidence to wear very short hair. What I normally say to some of my clients, when I notice their hair is really, really damaged, I say to them, just cut it off. And when you cut it off, you just wear a wig. It's something I love wearing. I love wigs. When I don't feel like styling my natural hair, I just put a wig on. But then I've met people who do not want to hear the word wig. It for them is a taboo. It's like it sits on my head and it's holding back my blood flow, and I've actually had someone who fainted from wearing a wig. So I'm not going to force my opinion on people. But the reality is, if you have hair that you're trying to transition from chemical relaxers to natural hair, some of the best ways is to wear the braids and allow your natural hair to grow out. So that's what we call the transition stage. So natural hair designing will help you with that. Protection from the weather. Okay, so we live in the West, for instance, where the weather changes. So we have the 4 main seasons, you know, the spring, the winter, the autumn, and then the summer. For us in the UK, summer is just like 2 weeks sometimes. And so the rest of the year is cold and dry and not humid at all. And so our hair cannot take some of these weathers. So what happens is the afro hair starts breaking whenever the weather is not healthy for our hair. When this happens, the best thing we say is protect your hair with natural hair designs. So what some people are doing now is you go into Google and you say protective hairstyles. You find the braids, you find the twists, you find the afro kinky. So these are options for you to do when you have the natural hair designs on your head. Some people want to go on holidays, and when you go on holidays, you don't know where the next hairdresser is. I took a trip to Netherlands once, and I met a lady in the salon, and she said to me, when I moved here, it was a nightmare because the salons here don't know how to care for my hair. And that was a good example, because her hair got so damaged for the fact that the salon she was dealing with had no clue how to care for her hair. Now, what she could have done, because obviously the UK and the Netherlands are not that far, she could occasionally take trips and maybe 3 months, 4 months, get her hair done and travel back. That could save her hair if she was that concerned about it. But when people go on holiday, sometimes they're staying 6 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 month, you don't want to go chasing every corner there. Oh, where's the next nearest hairdresser? And then when you go there, what if their way of styling hair is completely different from the way you know how to style your hair? Then you're gonna get your hair damaged while you're on holiday. So what people then do is they come and get their hair braided, again, protective hairstyle, and the hair carries them throughout the holiday period. So this is one way you can offer your service to your clients. It is a healthier option because for as long as we are not adding any chemical to your hair. Now, I hear people carry on all the time and give braiding the worst name you can think of. It's called, they tend to just portray it as the worst thing that could happen to hair. Trust me, I have children, I wear natural hairstyles, my children wear natural hairstyles. This form of taking care of your hair does not damage your hair in any form, and you should encourage your clients to wear natural hairstyles because these styles are better, they're healthier, there are no chemicals involved. So this is the best way you can market your business to your clients. We're going to carry on, and I'm going to keep telling you more things you need to know about the natural hair industry. Okay, so what are the qualities of a good natural hair and braiding consultant? We like to say natural hair and braiding consultant, or natural hair and extensions consultant. Extensions being the extra hair we add on there. We'll talk about that later. So we love the word consultant because people are going to come to you and ask a lot of questions, and you are going to be able to answer these questions. And that's what this DVD is all about, to just put you in that position where you're able to deal with the questions that will come when they do come. So you need to have some basic qualities that make you stand out, that make people want to come to you. Now, one of the first qualities we like to talk about is being patient. So patience is one of them. People are going to come to you and they know that you know that braiding takes long to do. So when they come and they're not sure what styles they want done, they're going to be asking you and they want you to give them input. Now, when it comes to that, some of the things I recommend and suggest is make sure you keep lots and lots of magazines where you work from. I will show you, as we go along, the kind of magazines I work with. These magazines will help you by you having that in your place and just hand it over to them and tell them, could you decide for yourself what you're looking for? Now, personally for me, what I tend to do, because most of the clients I have at the moment are coming from the internet. So they watch my YouTube video, they've seen some of the images I have on Facebook, and then they've gone into Google and searched World of Braiding and they've seen things. So I say to them, could you send me an image of what you want to look like? And once they've done that, I can guide them to say, this is the best extensions for it, this is the best things that will happen, this is how long it will take. So all of this will help to make your work a lot easier. So you need to be patient with them, so you're not stressing them into trying to pick a style they don't really want, and when that happens, then she's not happy when she's walking away from you. So it is important that you be patient and give them time to really know what they want to do. The next thing is you have to be a very detailed person. Now, again, not all of us are just naturally very detailed, but when you want to go into designing hair, this is one of the qualities I will want you to take on. From these qualities I'm mentioning, not everything here is just naturally with everybody. But like what they say, every industry has the things that you have to work with to make it work. If you want to make natural hair, braiding and extensions work for you, you have to imbibe these things into your business. So you have to be detailed, because every strand and every track that you create all add up to give that final look. So if you want to give a really beautiful look on your client, everything matters. So don't say, okay, at the back she's not going to see what I'm going to put on her head, so I'm going to just throw whatever I like, and then when I get to the front I'm going to be really, really detailed. That is what is going on right now in the hair braiding industry, and that really breaks my heart, in the sense of, why do you think her friends are not going to see the back, or her husband, for instance, and they'll be like, why is this one like this? What do you think is going to happen? She's not going to come back to you because you thought she was not smart enough to see what's happening at the back, and so you didn't take your time to create it. Take your time to create a very detailed work and let her be happy with what you've given her. This is why I say to myself, every hair that I create on a client is a signature of who I am. It is selling itself for me. I've had clients come to me because they saw hair that I created on someone else. And the minute they saw the person, there was an instance, this lady, she saw my daughter with the hair done on my daughter, and she followed her up to the show and said, please, I'd like to know who did your hair. Things like that has brought me business because I took time to create that hair. So if you take your time to create hair on your clients, people will see the hair on their head and they will ask who did their hair, and that's how you get more business. So every hair you do is an advertisement for your business. It's I call it a mannequin for your business. So put in every effort to create a detailed, beautiful look. Now, fashionable is another thing I always encourage people to think of when they're thinking of the natural hair industry. Don't think because it's natural hair it shouldn't look beautiful. I disagree completely with that. We are gone past that age where natural hair should not look good. My flyer, I'll show you at some point, it says stop wearing boring hairstyles. People think I'm wearing natural hair, so I should be boring. Why should you be boring? You should be as versatile, as creative, as whatever you're thinking of, play it up on the natural hair. And I tend to look for the most glamorous hair extensions to create the most glamorous natural hairstyle on my clients. So whatever you're thinking, make sure you are fashionable enough for your clients to know that you are going to be giving them that kind of look they are looking for, so people actually admire and appreciate what they look like. Because again, remember, if the hair doesn't feel right, she will not feel right. So be a good listener and counselor. Now, you're going to be with somebody for hours and hours. That's what braiding is all about. I mean, the single class, for instance, could take up to 8 hours. If you have to sit with somebody for 8 hours, what are you going to be doing? She's going to be chatting with you and you're going to be chatting with her. And if you're not listening, it will just be flying out the window and she's going to think you don't care about her. One of the things you have to do is listen. Now, listening has so many ways of helping you, because I've heard people say, I went into the salon to go and get my hair done, and I'm trying to explain again how I want my hair done, and she wasn't listening. She thinks she knows what's best for my hair. I know there are instances where we can guide, which when we get there, I'll talk you through it. But when she's coming in to say, this is what I want done, listen to it, and then if you think that is not healthy for her hair, you can explain to her why that is not good for her hair. Okay? So being a good communicator, which is the next thing after listening, is you want to communicate it clearly and you show with examples. Okay, your hairline is damaged. The reason we cannot create this design is because your hairline is damaged. Or your hair is too short. We can't pick this hair. Or your hair is too thick. I can't do this style with this hair. So you have to be very clear why that hairstyle they're asking for is not the best for the style they want. Connecting her hair and the technique she's told you to do. You also have to be very current on issues. Now, when I say current is, at least listen to what's happening in your environment. I am that kind of person. I am a bit very politically minded. I'm economically minded. I want to know what's happening in the society I live in and the society I come from. So I tend to watch the news regarding such areas, and I want to know what's happening in the country I'm living in. So I tend to just sit across on a vast level, and I want to chat with my clients about what's happening. They also share what they know that's going on with me. So if you have a client sitting with you for 8 hours and all you want to talk about is, I don't know, you have to find something that is of interest to both of you. So it shouldn't just be personal, but it should be things that are happening in your environment. What is the economy like? What are job situations like? What is happening in the children's schools today? You know, things like that. What is the world economy turning into? So show interest in the world around you. And that way your clients really look forward to meeting you, because they know that sometimes things have been so busy, they haven't had time to even listen to the news themselves. So you are going to keep them up to date. Now, the next thing that is very important is friendliness. That is such a huge thing that you must take on. I find lots of the people, and this also affects just the black industry generally, the black economy. We get into business and we just think we are so big that our clients don't count. Now every client counts. One of the clients who came to me today, we were chatting, and she said, the first thing that bothers me about the black hair salons is I walk in and I don't get eye contact with anyone. Why are you not giving eye contact? Why do you think your client should not look at you in the eye and say, oh, how are you today? Why can you not do that? Now, this is what I say to everyone. When you own a business, when you set up a business, it is a relationship between you and your clients. And the first thing you're going to have to show that you really do appreciate your relationship is to walk to them at the door and say, hi, how are you? Welcome. How can I help you? So customer care, customer service is so lacking in our industries, and this is something I would like us to improve upon. So friendliness, you do not buy it with money. It's just inside you. So try and be a bit more friendly and welcoming to people as they come to you, because they are going to exchange your service for the money in their pockets. And if there is no money coming into your business, you do not have a business. So learn to add that on. The next thing is endurance. Endurance is knowing that you're going to be standing here today up to about 8 hours. What I do personally is I just look forward to that final finish. So I'm not stressing myself to wonder how much longer is this going to take. Now I tell my clients from Jumpstart to say, this will take time. And if you want the best look from me, don't tell me, oh, I need to be here for only 2 hours. If you want 2 hours job, we're going to find a style that takes 2 hours. But if it's a style that's going to take 8 hours, do not pressure me. Because if you pressure me, you're not going to get the best style out of me. That's me, personally. I know there are salons whose business it is to bring in 20 clients in 1 hour and throw them all out in 1 hour. If that's the kind of business you're doing, are you sure you're giving your clients the best service within an hour? Say you want to give her a full head of braids. You give her, and let's say it's just the one person doing that hair. Is it possible to finish that whole head of hair in 1 hour? Now, if you were able to do that, trust me, I know, you would have played on her head. You would have made some shortcuts. When you play your shortcuts and your client walks out of the door and people start commenting and say, oh, what kind of horrible hairstyle is this? Be sure she's not going to come back. And I have people who have told me, I had a lady tell me once, they had a salon in the middle of town. Everyone could access the salon as they approached the town for the first time. Now, she said they were making over $1,500 or pounds every day. And that's because everyone just saw the salon and walked into it. But the unfortunate thing they never had was not one of those clients came back the second time. Now that is really distressing, because what that means is you haven't offered good enough service that makes them want to come back. So if you don't take on board the fact that you want your clients to come back to you because they love what you've given them, then you do not have a business. And this is what we're talking about, the business itself. So we just finished talking about the qualities. Now we're moving on to the next thing, which is the benefits. What are the benefits that you think you're going to gain out of setting up a business in natural hair designing? Remember, right now we live in an economy where there is really no sustainability. The economy, nobody knows what's going to happen next. Things are going really bad. Countries all over the world are struggling to survive. You hear these things in the news. Greece, nothing going on. Cyprus, Spain, Italy, you just name it. Here in the UK, we're having our own depression, they call it, where we've been told that the country owes over 3.1 trillion pounds sterling. In the US, I don't even know how much money that's happening right now that's really causing the struggle in the economy. Now, my solution to this is, why not just arm yourself with a skill? Because if you arm yourself with a skill, what can possibly go wrong? You are the skill. And so all you have to do is use your skill, share it with someone, and they pay you for your service. That's what it is. I mean, we've had the time for earlier on in the video or DVD, we talked about what is going on, how the educational system has failed our generations and our children's generation. People are being sent to school day in, day out to go and learn how to read and write. And they come out of school and universities and they don't know what to do with all that knowledge. Why do they not know what to do with the knowledge they've got? Because they've been groomed. We have been groomed to expect a job when we come out of university. We don't know that we have to create our own job. And so right now, there are more educated people walking the streets. The other day, someone said to me, there was a job opening and they only wanted one person. How many people applied for that job? 150 people came for a job of just one person. And the statistics is alarming. Everybody thinks someone out there needs to create a job so that I will come and fill it up. This is my question. Who is that person? Who has been brought into this world by nature, by God, to say your job is to create a job? Now, the only organization that can do that naturally is the government. But if the government is struggling and hasn't got money to spend to create jobs, who else is going to do that for you? And you hear every day businesses are closing down. They're closing down because what they're selling maybe is not relating to the people anymore. So no money is coming in, so they cannot sustain what they have. So This is the chance. This is the time for you to take up a skill. And when I've taken you through my history, trust me, I've been to university. I've done all kinds of jobs that I can relate to. But I realized early enough that for me to move forward in life, I have to own what I want to talk about. And with the skill I have, I can go anywhere in the world right now and set up. Because the skill is me. So if you're waiting for a business that will employ you, for you to sit in some office and pick up a phone and drop a phone, because that's people's idea of what a job is. Sit in an office and answer the phone. No, this is the time for you to gain a skill. And so gaining a skill, creating people's beauty, supporting their hair growth and hair development, that is something that is so unique. And you will stand out and people will appreciate your value. So the benefits of what we offer, which is the hair braiding skill, is number one, remember, it's a very niche career. Hairdressing school will not teach you to creatively design hair. I have been to hairdressing school, cosmetology college, and you're spending 1,400 hours, 1,100 hours, and what they're teaching you is how to cut hair, how to put chemicals in hair, how to straighten the hair, how to color the hair. Now, the number of intricate designs that we create here, you will not get that in a cosmetology college. For now, they haven't taken it on. And we are the only ones who do it the way we do it. So it is a niche career. Niche means it is unique. What we offer is unique. So niche career is what we offer. It is a lifetime skill. Lifetime means once you know how to create that cornrow, that's you. No one can take it from you again. And that's why when we offer our DVDs to people and we say, learn how to create cornrows, and people come back and say to me, oh, but your DVD is expensive. And I say, hello, if you were buying a shoe for 50, 100 pounds or $100, you would not think about it, because for you, oh, I need a shoe. But that shoe will not last you 2 days. And the skill that you're going to gain from watching a DVD you got from here will last you a lifetime. But you don't see, you cannot connect the relationship. Because for you, as you spend these years of researching into this industry, investing, making time out to create you a video, and then you want it to be $5. No, it doesn't work that way. But then again, I want you to understand the difference between when you gain a skill for life and when you just buy something for the fun of it. So the skill of braiding is an acquired skill that stays with you for life. So remember that. It is a creative, artistic skill. So a design like that is someone thinking about it. And she said to herself, what if I put some as zigzag? What if I put some as just straight lines? What if I create a more zigzag? She could have done all the size zigzag and done all the size straight look. She could have done different things with it. She could have parted the hair in the middle and created just the zigzag at the back and the front straight. It's your creativity. It's in your head. And I hear people come here and they say to me, are you going to teach me how to design hair? I don't teach people how to design hair. I teach you to know how to create hair. Get the creative art itself. Because once you know how to interweave the strands of hair, the creativity is already in your hands. It's in your head. You don't know it yet, but you have it. Because whenever you look in a magazine and you see designs that have been created like that, or like that, you're going to go, wow, I can do that. Because I know that all they've done is take the hair up and then they've done something like this. So you can change. It doesn't all have to be uniform. You can play with it. So it's a creative design that you can bring your own character and your own personality into. It encourages self-employment, and this is a major thing for this industry. We want you, the minute you have your skill, to be able to employ yourself. This is where we come in. This is where we say, we're going to teach you to prosper with the business of hair. We say we empower you to be able to be financially free. Because if you have that power to create designs and create hairstyles in your clients, they will pay you for it. And you don't have to keep walking to your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. I need money to buy pin. I need money to buy my lip gloss. I need money to buy my hair cream. If you have a scale in your hand, you just say to someone, I can create your cornrows. And once you've done that, they will give you money for it. So that is what we are giving you. We are giving you that empowerment that gives you employment, something that you create for yourself. And once you've grown with time, you can create jobs for other people. You can employ other people. So if you set up a salon with 4, 5, 6 chairs, people can come and work with you, because you cannot braid everybody's hair in your city, in your town, in your neighborhood. So you need help. You need people to come and help you out. And that's how you have already created jobs for your friends and your family sometimes. Your kids can help you with it. So your customers normally will not owe you, because once they've sat down and you created hairstyles in them, they will pay you for it. Braiding itself is not an expensive business for you to start. All you need to do is to get your hands on the training. Start with the training, and once you've got that skill in your hand, the rest you need is just a comb. I always say to everyone, with a comb in your hand, that's it, you're ready to go. Because when your clients come, they come with their hair extensions if they want a hair extensions. I've actually seen clients who actually come with their own hair products. But then I keep my hair products because I know what my hair products will do. So it's up to you. What do you want to keep for your clients to come and enjoy from you? So a comb in your hand, that's all you need. And the skill is in your head. So it does not require all the expensive tools. I need to buy this, I need to buy that, I need to do this first before I do that. No, I've done trainings where I had to buy so many things for me to even think of starting. And you can set up right next door in your other room, in your spare room. I started from my spare room. So it's not something that you have to have your shop next on the high street. No, you can set up from the little spare room, and as you grow gradually, you decide, do I want to move on to a bigger place? Do I want to stay exactly where I am? I heard a story once, very interesting story. And the lady was so good working from home all by herself. And then she thought, why don't I set up a big shop? She did. Then she was unfortunate enough to have very horrible staff. And what then happened, because she's grown so big, she didn't have enough time to spend with her clients. So the staff were giving the clients very bad service. The clients stopped coming. And so the business did not grow. What then happened? She had to go back to the house. So these are some of the things we have to learn. How do we want to move this forward? So if you become so good at home, you can decide, I have to know the people I'm going to take along with me and move them to the shop. But at least it gives you time to start and gain your client base from home. So again, the language of braiding is universal. So keep talking about the magazines, which I'll show you. Once you have magazines and images that people can relate to, you don't have to speak the perfect English. What if she's Chinese and she doesn't speak English? What if she's Spanish and does not know how to say hello in English? What if she's French and doesn't want to speak English? So you have to decide, once you know what you're doing, you have enough magazines to take care of your clients. All you have to do is give them the magazine and they pick the style they want, and you work from there. So your skill being part of you goes everywhere you go, and so you can travel anywhere in the world with the skill in your hand, and you don't need to start packing suitcases of things to sell, because that skill is you, and wherever you go, your skill is with you. The language of braiding, we've talked about that. Braiding skill can be passed within a family. So you remember when we talked about how were these skills shared in the past? You can teach your children how to braid hair. I have taught my children, they all know how to braid hair. That will not stop them from deciding what they want to do in future. So the skill itself is an amazing skill to own. Share it with your children, and they can use it obviously for very good use, because if they are in, say, university, wherever in the world, and they lack money and they are looking for their parents to send them money, they can just do someone's hair and get paid instantly. So that skill is like money that you have equipped them with. And that's why I'm more than excited to pass on this skill to younger generation. And if you watch YouTube, you see the programs we work with children all the time. It excites me to see that a newer generation are beginning to understand how this skill can be passed on from generation to generation. And so braiding is glamorous, and we want you to make sure you glamorize it. Don't let it be boring. Make it exciting and interesting to your clients. So we finish with the qualities of what a braider should be, a natural hair consultant, I prefer to call you. Benefits of what you gain, things you get out of this industry if you decide to do it. And then now we're going to start going into the skill itself. What are these things you need to know such that when your clients come, you know the kind of clients you're working with. Now the first one we're looking at, what are the professional hairstyles that could be seen in braiding? Now this is important because lots of people think braiding is just single plaits, it's just cornrows and the twisting, which are those three things we talked about when we started. Now there's a lot more than that. That's where the hair extensions come in. We've done a DVD on hair extensions alone, and we explain what are the different types and why someone will want a particular type for a particular hairstyle. So we're not going to go too much into the details of understanding hair extensions, because you can always buy that DVD for your own understanding. But what we're going to focus on here is to create the awareness. What are these different designs that people are going to call you and say, could you do X style on my head? Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to do this? So I'll give you the names. And while in training, sometimes I take my students through looking through the magazines to know what these are. I want you to take this upon yourself. This is your homework. I'll give you the names. You go into Google, go into our Facebook. It's called World of Braiding and Extensions. That's for the training. And we also have World of Braiding Facebook. Go in there. Go into Tumblr. So these are various things on the internet. And each of the names that I'm going to mention, type it in and search. Look for that image. Once you have that, you know what this is about. And then when people ask you to create it for them, you have a fair idea what they're asking you to do. On the other hand, what I say to my clients is, could you send me an image of what you want, so that you and her are together in understanding what she wants. You don't want you thinking what she's asking for is something else. Whenever they say to you they want X design, check it out, find out from them clearly what they want. So we have the single braiding techniques. Single braiding techniques are when you create a single plait and your clients can see them looking like a rope. So single plait is anything that's starting from the scalp and standing out as a rope. Now in the form of single plaits, there's so many different types. There's the single plaits in natural hair. So you're using the client's hair and you're just creating a single plait with it. There's single plaits where we just add extensions to it. So you take extension, something that's not her hair, and you braid it into the hair and it becomes longer or color changes for whatever reasons you do that. Then there's the box braids. Now the box braids is when you create a section, and usually the sections are either in the form of squares, or they're in the form of triangles, or in the form of arches, and sometimes diamonds. When these designs are talked about, just remember when you were in primary school and your teacher said, could you create me a diamond design or a square design? Same thing is what we're using to create these designs in braids. And the most popular one is the squares, and that's what I teach here when people come to learn how to do the braids. So the box braids are these ones that create those designs, and then you finish it off with the singles, which is like a rope. Then we have the pixie braids. Pixie braids are braids when you braid them and the styles just create what we call the bob. So that's pixie. Pixie just hangs on the neck, and normally we finish the pixie with burning the tips. And then we have the curly braids. Curly braids, you use the curly hair extensions and you braid it in. So it could be there's so many types you can use. Some of my favorite are the Freetress brand, the Uptress brand, and but what's the other one? So many designs, I can't even remember what they're like right now. So mainly wavy or curly hair, you braid it in the form of single plaits and they give you the waves. Then there's the yarn braiding, and yarn braiding is about using the wool. We're gonna create a video, a DVD on that very soon. So you use the wool and you create the single out of it. And when you do that, we call it yarn braiding. And then there's the micro braids. Micro braids is when you use the 100% human hair. There are two ways you can create this. You can either use this usual Kanekalon, expression, or tray, different types of hair extensions, but the most important thing to remember is the strands of hair are very small, and that's why we say micro. So micro braids, very small strands of hair, and you braid and finish the braid. My favorite micro braids is use 100% human hair, and because the hair is so light, it just comes naturally micro. You don't go using 100% human hair and create jumbo braids. No, it will not sit in well. And opposite of micro braids is the jumbo braids, which is basically creating big strands of hair or extensions. And these are using usually Kanekalon, expression hair or tray, and you create huge sizes of hair. And then the bantu knots is when you create the single plaits, again using that same extensions that we use in creating the pixie, and you wrap the hair around itself and lock it up. Some people call it the Chinese bombs. There's another one, the tree braid plaits. Now again, that's another unique hairstyle where I recommend using 100% human hair again, because you braid them and you take little strands of hair out of them and they create like a branch of a tree. So you finish and the hair sits really full on the client's head. I recommend 100% human hair to achieve that. And then there's the Afro puff braids, where you actually use the Afro kinky hair instead of just wrapping them or going with a twist. You braid it in and you just leave most of the hair out. What you end up having is a huge head of Afro hair. And braid out is where you finish braiding the client's hair with her natural hair, allow her to sit for like 2 days, let the hair dry out, and you take out the braids. What you end up having is really lovely ringlets of wavy natural hair.